Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, here with the one and only Joe Goossen. Joe, what's happening?
Hey, I was going to give you you asked to see it, so there's the Ryan Garcia. It's just a weigh-in jacket. It's not like the corner stuff or anything, but it's nice. They always produce some nice gear, Ryan and his family. Yeah.
Very nice logo. Appreciate you showing that, Joe. We thank you for that. We're here ahead of, or just after, we already had the press conference for Fortuna and Ryan Garcia. Tell us what you thought about it overall.
Well, I thought it started well and it ended well. It started friendly and it ended up heated. That is not untypical. And again, they were fairly complimentary at the beginning of the press conference. And then Fortuna was nice enough to give Ryan a hat. I guess Ryan commented, was it a Bulls hat?
It was a Bulls hat. A very touching moment, too, Joe.
Wasn't it?
Really was a touching moment. I'm not crying. You were crying.
I know, it was very touching. And I felt that the gesture needed to be reciprocated, and so I commandeered a hat from one of the Ryan Camp guys and threw it to Ryan, and Ryan gave it to Fortuna. So they each got something from each other. And then that was nice and touching, tearful, as you said, Marcus. And then they stood up for the face-off.
Then things got a little testy there. I talked to Javier a little bit ago, and he told me he just didn't like Ryan's just overall disposition. He said he just didn't like his demeanor. He didn't say anything to set him off. Javier said he just didn't like Ryan's demeanor. What do you think about that?
That's just crying shame. I'm going to be thinking about that the next couple of days. Seriously, though, it doesn't matter what anybody says, really, or thinks, because Saturday night they're going to be in the ring, and I'll give Fortuna his, respect and say that, look, he's got 27 knockouts. He's a winner. He's got over 30 wins. He's a left-hander. Changes the dynamic a little bit in the ring. Although we've addressed all of this in training ourselves, and Ryan's just been on fire in the gym. But again, I don't demean any fighter, especially one that's got that many wins and knockouts and came to our turf to fight us. But all that being said, and the respect that he deserves given, I just think Ryan Garcia is, and Ryan said it, on a different level. And I think that's going to be apparent once the fight gets moving along. And the fur starts flying, as they say. And I'll tell you why. The reason I say that is because I brought in some really difficult left-handed sparring for Ryan. When you fight a southpaw, you kind of have to retrain your brain because everything's coming from the opposite side now than a right-hander. And a lot of your tricks and a lot of your counters as a right-hander work well against right-handers, because the majority of guys you fight are going to be other right-handers. The majority of guys you're going to spar are going to be other right-handers. Now, conversely, left-handers mainly spar with right-handers. Left-handers mainly fight right-handers. So there's a distinct advantage there if you understand that dynamic. So when a right-hander fights a left-hander, you have to scramble now to do what you don't normally do in the gym, which is spar with left-handers. So you have to bring in left-handers. And then you have to bring in quality left-handers. And you have to bring in a number of them if they don't last, which they don't with Ryan. So this was the incredible thing. Ryan was just a one-man wrecking crew with southpaws. He knows how to fight a southpaw, but still, after about a week or two of sparring with southpaws, you could see the metamorphosis into doing well against them to just totally dominating them in the gym. So, with all the respect I give to Fortuna, I really feel, and then on top of what I just described to you about Ryan's forte and his really effectiveness against southpaws, especially as he built over the 2 months of sparring with them, his power is just, it's ungodly. I'm going to tell you, Marcus, I've held that body cushion for heavyweights. And I'd say the two hardest guys I ever held him for one was David Tua. He's 270 pounds. Man, it was really a challenge to hold that for like 10 rounds with him. And then Lance Whitaker, Mount Whitaker, who I trained for a number of years, 6'8", 280 pounds, 275.
Sort of a big guy, kind of a big dude.
You would imagine holding that, and the one I have isn't like a big, thick one. It's a couple and a half inches. I'm going to tell you, the guy third on the list isn't another heavyweight. It's Ryan Garcia. I've never really felt somebody from any weight division that ever. I'm telling you, I almost like go, oh man, do I have to really hold this thing against this kid again? He's so heavy. I've never felt anything like it. And then he's fast to boot. So you really have to tense up, and I mean tense your body up, or else you're just going to get rocked. So holding the body cushion against Ryan Garcia was like holding it for a heavyweight. I'm just telling you, if you get hit by this kid's left hook, forget it. I saw him drop, wobble, stun, knock out, break bones with his left hook in my gym. That's a fact. And there's nobody that escaped the wrath. And if you did somehow escape that without getting dropped, stunned, knocked out, and you made your 6 to 8 rounds, you weren't coming back after 2 of those sessions, because you know that he's figured you out, and that the third time you come back, you're going to be in deep trouble and end up like the rest of the crew. So that's Ryan Garcia in a nutshell. He's unique, and he stands alone in terms of destroying. I've never had a guy that can just destroy sparring partners like that. Never, ever.
Joe, speaking to the deleterious power that Ryan possesses, I was privileged. You were nice enough to let me in the 10 Goose Boxing Club the other night. We hung out for quite a while, past midnight. I got to see firsthand what you're talking about. The shattering power from both hands. We talk a lot about his left hand, but his right hand is a doozy on its own.
You're damn right. And you really hit the nail on the head. I didn't mean to omit that, but I didn't think it was necessary, since the left hand is really something else. But you're right, and it's a great observation. His right hand is. And I've held the mitts with him too. And I told him, I said, okay, Ryan, your right hand might have a little bit more zip on it than your hook, if that's even possible. Nobody's ever hurt my hand or wrist. I can hold the mitts without using a mitt. Ryan buzzed my wrist one time, and it took about a week for it to recover. And nobody's ever done that. So that was with his right hand.
The one thing that stuck out to me during the Ryan interview, before I let you go, I got to talk to you about it because I was so in shock that night, was that the almost radar-like honing system that he must have in his mind, where he can throw on that stand-up bag, that standalone bag that his dad makes, the FR bag. He's hitting this bag 5, 6, 7, 12 times in a row with either hand, with foot movement, and he's not missed one punch at all.
It's amazing, isn't it? And see, the thing about the FR bag, the Fierce Reflex, is that it's on the top level one is on a very firm coil. That doesn't mean it's that rigid. It'll move. It'll move in almost any direction. It's
You gotta hit it.
You've got to find it. to hit it. And so since I installed one in my gym, I want to install another one, by the way, because everyone loves it. And I don't want to go through the whole rigmarole of why it's so great, even though you can parry with it, block with it, slip with it. It's got resistance to it. So I just broke my own promise right there. But the fact of the matter is that the guys that have been introduced to it in my gym are finding it difficult to hit it more than like 3 times in succession. And they're starting to get the hang of it. And they watch Ryan and their jaws drop open. But Ryan can hit that thing, I mean, with ungodly power at will over and over and over again. And that thing is really moving in what looks to be uncontrollable angles, but Ryan knows where it's going. So the hand-eye coordination is incredible. But Ryan, any drill that I've put Ryan on that it's a new drill that he had never done before, he masters it with incredible speed.
The other drill that I watched was the speed bag. And we're not talking about standing there punching the speed bag like Popeye. We're talking about movement, head movement, and throwing big shots at the speed bag. Never seen it before.
No, see, and that's the drill I was talking about. Yeah, you're very observant, Marcus, because you're right. It looked like an art form with him doing it. It's amazing. His footwork, his pivoting, his slipping, weaving, touching and going. He can do anything. He's just one of those guys. He's one of those guys. I'll tell you, I've been around a long time, Marcus, and I got to tell you, this kid, he checks all the boxes. And that we're not even talking about his personality, his looks, his social media, frenzy around him, his, just everything about him, his intelligence, he's got a love for people too. Believe me, he is one of the most welcoming, open arms guy you'll ever meet. I can't say enough about Ryan. And he doesn't hesitate to say, "Hey, I love you."
Saw that firsthand the other night as well.
Yeah, exactly. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's an unusual, in a great way, an unusual character. Forget about boxing, just in life in general. He's charismatic, and people are attracted to him because he's got something special about him, and I'm well aware of that, and I'm happy to be part of that with Ryan because he's a great guy to be around, and this is going to be a fun ride because we're going somewhere with this. I know that.
Definitely. Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, here with Joe Goossen, the trainer of the generational talented Ryan Garcia. Joe, thank you for your time.
Marcus.
As always.
It's a pleasure, my brother. Yeah. Good to see
Appreciate
you.
you.